Hi, guys. It's Mike and Ricky, and this week we are going to talk about Tron. Michael, how are you, sir?
Ricky, I'm good. Good. I've been keeping up on a lot of news, and
Okay.
a lot of stuff's going on.
A
Just
lot of stuff
crazy.
happened this past
Yeah,
week.
call it crazy weather. I was reading this thing in DC. The crime has gotten out of hand. I was reading some stuff that was happening in Washington, and
Okay.
this a lot of things I don't want to mention because we try to keep things upbeat here, but they had a situation where a toilet was stolen from a local precinct last night.
A toilet was stolen from a local, like a police station?
Yeah. I mean, the police have nothing to go on.
Oh. It's the Speaking Nerdy podcast with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
And my good compadre and friend, Mr. Ricky Pope.
So I recorded nothing to go on. I recorded a podcast with a friend of mine the other day.
Yeah.
And he said, every time I say your name, all I can hear is Mike Schilling's voice in my head. Made me laugh.
Oh, nice. I'm glad I could contribute.
Our friend Lucas.
Oh,
So,
I love
so
Lucas.
Lucas
Hello,
is a great
Lucas. He's a great guy.
So Tron tonight.
Yes, that's right. I am really excited to see this because I'm a big Star Wars fan and I love this. He's my favorite character. He's very, a dominating character. Timothy Thawne had some great books on him, and I'm excited.
That would be Thrawn with an H. Thrawn. This is Tron with no H.
Well, these notes are no good. So anyway,
we got some nerdy news today.
Yes, we do have some nerdy news. Let's play it.
It's time for the nerdy happenings of the week.
All right. Well, with a heavy heart and in all seriousness, man,
sad day.
I'm so bummed. Many of you know him back in the 80s, and many of us, in The Mandalorian. Carl Weathers passed away a couple of days ago, and
such a great actor, so many great characters. He was in Predator. He was in Rocky.
He was.
Most recently in The Mandalorian.
Yes.
It's great. Great actor.
Great actor. Has some great comedic timing. He was in Happy Gilmore, if you've ever seen that. He just was so talented, and a lot of his friends and fellow actors like Adam Sandler won, Sylvester Stallone, reached out, just very heartfelt, sadness and love towards his family. He had an Instagram message he did just 8 months ago. He was preparing, he was working on something, and anyway, he's going to be missed. What a great actor. Yeah. And so, he's
sad day.
On another note, we have, speaking of The Mandalorian Grogu will arrive in 2026. This came up in a marketing. Disney was looking over their financial years, and out of that meeting, this information came out. So they're looking at projections.
Officially the title?
I don't know. That's kind
The
of a weird
Mandalorian and Grogu.
Grogu. It's not really something. It's not really a name that
It doesn't
strikes.
roll off the tongue.
No, no,
Doesn't strike fear in the hearts of his enemies.
no, it doesn't. Grogu. Yes, I mean the Mandalorian. Yes,
Yeah, but
but
and Grogu.
and Grogu, like Batman and Robin. I mean, it doesn't have that same feel. It's that same feel. And also in weird Star Wars news, this I find very interesting. Gina,
Yes.
yes, Carano, Gina Carano sues Disney for Mandalorian firing, and it's guess what? It's funded by Elon Musk. What's the deal with that?
It's
I have
so
no.
weird.
It is so weird. You can check out more information online, but and that's from Hollywood Reporter. So we know this is not something, from one of
Yeah.
those tabloids. But
One more reason for a certain group of people to hate on Elon Musk.
oh,
I
I
don't
know it. I know he's he don't care. I mean, the
No,
man
he
really
does
doesn't
not.
care. No, he does
If
not.
you feel strongly about something, he's going with it. That's all that matters.
Exactly. On a brighter note, Jeremy Renner vows he'll be strong enough for MCU's return if or when the time comes. Jeremy Renner, of course, he went through just a devastating accident and just a miraculous recovery. And he's actually back on a season 3 of what's the name of it? Mayortown.
Okay.
There's a show that he does on Apple TV, and I am not saying it correctly. I don't think it's Mayor
I don't
Town.
remember what it's called.
I don't know. Someone scream it out there. But anyway, he great actor, and I, after seeing the Disney Plus series Hawkeye, I thought, man, what a great job. I really do. He really has a strong character. I could see him be a leader, within the MCU universe if they decide to go that direction.
If they go that direction, yeah.
And also, this Super Bowl is coming up, which that Deadpool 3 trailer is expected to debut at the Super Bowl. So, keep your eyes out for that. Among as well as many of those probably other zany commercials, which proper men like us will watch, and then during the football game go get a snack and then come back and watch the commercials because we are proper men. And something that I know you're totally excited about, Winnie the Pooh and Honey 2. Trailer takes us back.
I laugh
to the
every time I see this.
Yes, so
I don't know why that's a thing.
I have no idea, but it's a thing. And
there's threats of a Steamboat Willie.
Yes, I know.
Horror movie.
I've
now
heard
that's in the
in the public domain.
Well, speaking of Disney stuff,
yes,
Bob Iger in that earnings report that you were talking about, mentioned that even though Disney Plus lost a good number of subscribers, they say it will be profitable over the summer.
Okay.
They lost about 1.5 million subscribers, apparently.
Oh, wow.
Not sure how long that time period is. I don't know if that was all of last year, but they expect to get another 500,000 to bring them back up to around 6 million.
Gotcha.
But the cost increases have kind of offset a lot of that earning. So going to be expected that the streaming service will be profitable, even if the movies and some other things at Disney aren't. So that's kind of an interesting situation with them. Along with that, Disney has invested $1.5 billion with Epic Games.
Oh,
and if you're not familiar with Epic Games, Epic Games is Fortnite and some other games. And they're going to be developing something with Disney. I'm a little unsure that I understand it
Mm-hmm.
all.
Mm-hmm.
But it will include franchises like Star Wars, Marvel, Pixar, and Avatar together. Maybe we'll get Indiana Jones as well. That would be fun.
Yeah, it would be
Um,
fun. Yeah.
then I really could play Short Round. Call back to
Call
last
back.
week.
Call back. Check
Call
it
back to
out.
last week's episode. But you know, at one point we had some Star Wars show
Mm-hmm.
up in Fortnite, and
Yeah.
there's been some things that Fortnite has done in the past. But apparently, this isn't just going to be characters in Fortnite. This is something else, but it will somehow interact with Fortnite.
Hmm.
And it says this represents probably our biggest foray into the game space ever.
Hmm.
And they're also saying it will have some like social media kind of aspects to it, to
Yeah.
where players will be able to develop things, stories, and be able to then share those with other people on this
Yeah.
platform, whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is. So, but going to be using Unreal Engine that Epic Games has developed, and could be interesting. Not sure exactly what it's
Hmm.
going to be, but $1.5 billion is a lot of money to hand off to a game company and
Yeah.
say, here, let's do something together.
Interesting. Okay. Disney's always reaching out for some more opportunities, I guess.
No doubt.
No doubt. Is there anything else we on nerdy news?
I don't have any other nerdy
No.
news.
Okay. Well,
Shall we do some stupid news?
let's do our outro. We don't want to.
Oh,
Let's come on
can't
now.
forget that.
Can't forget that. Come on now.
And that's all for the nerdy happenings of the week.
We don't want to get in trouble with SAG, do we?
I don't think we could ever get in trouble with SAG.
I don't think so.
Oh, let's do some stupid news.
Yes, let's do that.
It's the weird and stupid news with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
Love is in the air. Love is in the air. That's right. And when love is in the air,
around. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's putting
love is in the air because it's February. So
Yeah.
we're looking at Valentine's Day, which
Yeah.
Speaking of, you're married and I'm married. This is not
Yes.
stupid news related.
Not to each other.
We generally record on Wednesdays. No,
Yes,
definitely not. We generally record on Wednesdays. And Valentine's Day is Wednesday. Is next Wednesday.
That's
So
special.
so probably we won't be recording next Wednesday.
Really?
We'll have to record on a different night. I'm assuming you will be doing something wonderful with your wife.
A long pause.
I mean, it could depend
it could, yes. It
depend on what your stupid news story is about.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, is that time of year, that special month that's coming up with the Cupids and the arrows and the Valentine's heart and candy, of course. And of course, Reese's. Of course, Reese's comes out every year with their special shapes and their candies and all
like the pumpkins, Halloween, and the Christmas trees at Christmas. Yeah,
that's right. Well, Reese's Valentine's Day, their new pink heart candy has sparked some social media frenzy, apparently.
So it's heart shape and it's pink.
Yes, and it's pink.
That's kind of new. I mean, we've had like the white chocolate stuff.
That's right.
So pink. Okay, that's innovative, I guess. I don't think
so.
we've ever done pink before.
I don't think so. So apparently, there's a lot of chatter on the Mediaverse where Reese's Pieces heart-shaped peanut butter cups, but not for the reason the company likely were wanting, rather than focusing on the sweet and romantic symbolism of Valentine's Day. Many users have noticed an uncanny resemblance between the treats and a certain anatomical feature.
No!
Oh my! Oh,
This is real. This is not real. This is not real.
this is real.
How did you not? How did you not catch that?
Oh my!
No! Oh, there's so many people I have to send this to today.
Oh! Oh!
Oh, Michael.
Oh!
Oh,
Oh!
that was unexpected.
Yeah, that was unexpected. I can't unsee that. Yes, this discovery has left some users in stitches. That's right. Imagine that. As they compare the pink cream filled confection to a male body part when turned upside down. Reese's thought pink hearts would be cute, but I think they missed the mark on this one, remarked one user on X, capturing a sentiments of many amused observers. And other Facebook users commented, expressing their inability to shake off the resemblance, saying, I can't unsee this. Even as the parent company Hershey touts that these snack-sized candies as perfect for the workplace and classrooms. Oh my goodness.
My daughter teaches in an elementary school. No.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. Woo. Some have humorously suggest that the candy resembles the rear end of a beloved cartoon character, packed or star, but that's not exactly what's getting everybody aroused on this.
No.
But anyway, despite the viral sensation, the Reese's Pink Hearts candies continue selling with options in white and standard milk chocolate, while some find the shape a bit disconcerting. Others are undeterred, focusing instead on the delicious peanut butter and chocolate combination. Yes, so just keep that in mind. You know, if you want something special for your, for your spouse,
I dare you to buy Tiffany.
Yeah,
I dare you to buy that for Tiffany.
Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. I could. It looked like something I would put on the tailgate of a truck.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my goodness! Also in news, Florida lawmaker. There's more. Also in the news, Florida lawmaker says bill to loosen rules on killing bears is aimed at the ones that are on crack cocaine.
What?
Florida lawmaker says the bills to loosen rules on killing bears is aimed at the ones that are on crack. Yeah, that's right. The Florida legislature is advocating for relaxed regulations on wildlife killing, asserting that black bears high on crack cocaine are wreaking havoc by breaking into homes and causing destruction. Yes, that's your Florida. Anyway, the congressman made this claim during a meeting of the Florida Legislature House Infrastructure Strategies Committee meeting. According to the congressman, these alleged crack bears progressively invade homes, resulting in residents facing growling, destructive encounters. He argues that individuals should have the unrestricted right to shoot such bears without fear of legal consequences. Despite these assertions, no documented incident of black bears consuming crack cocaine can be found.
There is that documentary, Cocaine
exactly.
Bear.
That's right. The Florida legislator contends that his bill is primarily aimed at addressing nuisance bears encroaching on residential areas in search of food, posing risk to humans and pets. He asserts that the protection against animal cruelty, he asserts that protection against animal cruelty in baiting will remain intact unless they're on crack cocaine. I added that part. And folks, that is the stupid news.
This has been the Weird and Stupid News with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling. Stop it. Just stop it.
Oh, my goodness. So,
are they been recalled?
I don't think so. Honestly, I think that if anything, the sales have probably gone up since those came out. So, yeah. So tonight, folks, we're going to talk about the classic Tron, not Thrawn, but
yes,
Tron.
1982.
It's pretty amazing. It's I thought I've seen this before, but it was almost like seeing it for the first time. Of course, watching it on Disney Plus, we decided to do this because we thought we wanted to do some retro movies because honestly, there's not a whole lot out there we want to talk about right now. But this is fascinating. Tron really has kind of had a lot of groundbreaking in science fiction, and especially in the areas of CGI. I mean, this is if you think about it, I mean, it was one of the first movies to extensively use computer generating imagery.
Yeah.
I mean, it just really innovated its visual effects, and it was something that most people never seen before. Now, mind you, yes, Star Wars came out, but a lot of that, they used models and trickery and some of that kind of stuff, which was amazing.
A lot of paint, painted glass, with shooting through, masking, some pretty creative techniques. But for CGI, this was kind of the breakthrough moment in film. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I know you are a CGI kind of guy. You, and of course, for that time, there've been movies like, I mean, honestly, it seems like Disney during that time, they really kind of stepped up the game. The Black Hole, which they really stepped on some special effects and stuff like that. I don't know as far as coming in. I mean, I know it's hard looking at what we have CGI today, but but looking at that back then, it really, I mean, my opinion, it really fit. It really fit.
Absolutely. I mean, it fit the aesthetic they were going for.
Yeah.
So I did a little checking, and from what I read, there is about 15 minutes of true CGI in the movie. You might think 15 minutes, that's not a whole lot. Well, the movie's only an hour and a half. It's only a 90-minute movie.
Yeah.
But about 15 minutes of true CGI. And then there was about 50 minutes of a different style of effect. And I'm trying to remember what they called it. And I'm pretty sure that the effect they're talking about when I was reading that was the glow effect that they had on the people and on some of the set designs. I tried to find a making of, kind of a behind the scenes, but I didn't find what I was looking for. But I remember seeing a video that talked about the process they went through, because when they're on the game grid, they're all pale white, but then they have these glowing areas of their suits. I watched this video, and they talked about that process and how time consuming and how many passes it was to get that to actually work.
Wow.
It wasn't CGI, but it was such extensive effects work. Because there was like they had to get a pass. Like there's a layer that's just the people, just the white that you see.
Yeah.
Then there's a layer that's just the black that you see. Then there's the layer that's just the glow of the people that you see.
Mm-hmm.
And like multiple passes, and because of the way they did it, it's actually why when you'd see somebody and they would like turn and the light effect would like change around, like some
Yeah.
part of their body would be super bright, and then
Yeah.
other lines would be dark. It was
Mm-hmm.
because of the way they made the suits,
Yeah.
the reflective parts of the suits. So when they turned, it did some weird, interesting things. But yeah, it's pretty impressive what they were able to pull off for 1982.
It was amazing.
Um,
Yeah.
and if I read it right, the budget for the film was $20 million.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. I mean,
I think,
very young Jeff Bridges. I mean, that really,
yeah,
yeah. Um, and it really exemplified the 80s as far as technology goes. You know, as a tech person, you know, I find it's really fascinating all the terms that they use. You know, my name is Ram. I'm C-ROM.
oh yeah,
You know,
they definitely threw
I
in
a lot
they
of yeah,
they threw in a lot of catchphrase, techie nerdy words
yeah,
in this,
exactly.
which is kind of fun. It's
Yeah,
it's kind of kitschy. I mean, if I showed this to a 15-year-old kid, he probably would be like, "This is dumb."
yeah, probably so. Probably
But
so. Yeah,
to put myself back in the 80s, um, it's really cool.
yeah. I mean, and it's funny how it just, you know, it really surrounds itself of the culture, the arcade, because at the time that was the height
Oh
of
yeah.
the arcades.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and you know, I guess it's Flynn is the
Yeah.
character's name. You know, he's a former game developer, a hacker. He owns his arcade place, you know, called Flynn's,
Yep.
and you know, I mean, and it's a happening place. People are playing arcade, putting their quarters in, and you know, he's developed a lot of film, a lot of videos and programs, you know, and
Mhm.
of course his former employer, who was the evil, you know, uh,
Income.
Imcom, you know, he's basically stole it from him and basically,
Yep.
you know, stole it from him and taken all the credit and all the fame and the fortune. So
Yep.
that's kind of how this whole thing goes.
So this is random and actually
Yeah.
outside of the movie.
Yeah.
Um, I looked up Income
Hmm.
online.
Yeah.
Somebody at LinkedIn created Income as a company
Wow. Okay.
on LinkedIn, and it
Yeah.
talks about that it was a technology company that started in the 80s that developed a lot of military technology.
That's funny. Which is
It
actually,
was
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
it
it's
was it was absolutely
parroting.
a
Yeah.
description of of Income from the movie, and I was like, I don't know who did this, but it's brilliant.
That is
And
very brilliant.
LinkedIn lets it stay.
Well, good for them. Good for them. Hopefully, um, you know, it's fascinating. It's the whole concept of these programs, and they see, you know, a lot of it's really funny. It's almost like it's a religious system where you have
Yeah,
these programs that, you know, these are programs, these applications, and basically their god is they call users, and they believe in
yeah,
their users. And of course, this whole thing, the master control MCP, the master control program is trying to, you know, um, you know, trying to become their authoritarian, their God,
Yeah.
and trying to, it's funny. It's almost, um, you know, I don't know how to
It's the
describe it.
fear
It's the
everyone
fear.
today has for
Yes,
AI.
exactly.
Tron is the fear everyone today has
For
on
the AI.
for artificial intelligence.
And it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's just it has everything to do. There's so much, and I don't know how much of it they actually knew that. Because now you can look back and you can see all kinds of undertones there, cultural commentaries, about corporations and authoritarianism and
Yeah.
monopoly and just the whole technology become unchecked, no check and balance. Of course, now that we're seeing with AI, where we're putting chips in people's brains and
Well,
and
they even say in the movie, I don't remember. I think it's Flynn is talking,
yeah,
and or somebody else. I don't remember who was talking, but they make somebody makes the comment. It it's like you're talking about this program like it can think,
yeah.
and the reply is, well, one day programs will be able to.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like the MCP
Yeah,
is, the man who creates him, who is the ISCOM, the evil,
yeah.
and what is his? I can't remember the actor's name, um, who
Oh,
plays.
the the
The,
the kind of bad guy.
well, yeah, he's the CEO, the
David
guy who
Warren
is
is the actor.
okay. His
His
character,
that's Dillinger. That's
yes, Dillinger, who creates this program, and this program's outgrows him, and pretty soon he is controlled by the program, and he's
yes.
under. And so now the program is having him do his bidding, or he's going to expose him of all the things out there that he's trying to keep in a
The
skeleton's closet.
program is blackmailing him.
Yes,
It's
exactly. So
brilliant.
it is brilliant. It's a really good
There,
commentary. And if you look at it, it's almost kind of scary prophetic in a way, if you look
well,
at some of
and
this.
you get hung up on get hung up on the technology or the CGI and how impressive it was for the 80s.
Yeah.
But the cinematography in the real world is actually really good,
Yes, it
and
is.
the
I've noticed that.
acting is pretty good for the most part. And
Yeah.
that scene where there's a scene where the MCP wants to he's going to break into the Pentagon,
Yes.
and Dillinger's like, I don't think that's a good idea.
Hmm.
We shouldn't do that. And and he basically at that point he
Yeah.
basically blackmails
Yes.
Dillinger, and there's this pull out scene, and the face that Dillinger pulls
Yes.
is the realization that he has lost control.
Yeah.
That
He is no longer.
this is not his company. He is just a puppet
Yes.
on a stick for the MCP.
He is
And
no longer the creator, and he is no longer in charge.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It's, it's just fascinating to me. And, it's the writing behind it, had to be some sci-fi nerds behind the writing of this.
oh yeah,
There's so much cultural reference to it. So many things that most people, it has a cyberpunk kind of feel, which was
yeah, a little
punk
bit.
of the 80s. One of my favorite scenes is what they call it, the light cycle races.
Yes.
And those are the ones that you remember, even in the arcades and the video games, they had the
Mhm.
stick, and it's
Yeah,
just fascinating. It's almost like it is the um, gladiator arena where, they take these programs and they battle, as fodder,
yeah.
it's really
I
good.
I will say the vehicles I think are really interesting.
I do
in
too.
this, because some of them are like, okay, I can see that evolving from what we have,
Yeah.
like the light cycle. Okay,
Hmm.
it's a motorcycle. What's a motorcycle of the future look like? That's a cool concept.
Yeah, it really is.
The tanks, what's a tank today look like versus
Yes.
what could this futuristic tank look like? It's
Yeah.
still very tank like.
Yes,
But
it
then
is.
you have some weird ones that's like, whose brain did that come out of?
Well, some of them
Um,
kind of, some of them reminds me of some references of older games. Like, it's like the one that almost looks like, and I know which ones you're talking about. It's almost like an upside down U. It's like a,
yeah,
it's almost kind of a flying thing. It reminds me of some of the older games. Um,
yeah, I believe it's called a
and
recognizer.
Recognizer. That's right. And there's some older games that it looks very familiar to me. It's the ones that it's basically that type of design. And I can't remember, they had tank battle games back
Yeah,
in the days. They were all lines. They weren't
yep.
colored or fleshed out. They were just, yeah. Um, but yeah,
And
it's
and Sark's carrier is freaking cool.
that is
The
really
big
cool.
ship.
It
I
really
don't
is.
care who you are. That is
I
just a cool looking ship.
It
I
really
don't know
is.
what it's I don't know what it should be called, but it's just a really cool ship.
Yeah, I mean, they really take a nod of arcades in the '80s, and the thing is, this is not like a retro piece. This is actually done in that time. It's not like
Yeah.
we've done a movie today and we're
Yeah.
making a time period retro. And I think that's what's kind of interesting to me is that this is actually in that time period. Um, it
Well, and you talked about, I'm kind of the CGI snob
yeah.
of the pair of us. So not all of it holds up well.
Well, no.
And there is this one scene that every time I watch Tron, I just wish they had cut it. Because number one, it looks dumb.
Okay, I know which
And
one.
number
I know where
and
you're
number
going.
two,
Okay,
it goes nowhere.
no.
And they talk about these bugs.
Yeah.
I don't remember the specific name they give them, but like they look bad. They don't look CGI. They look like they're traditional animation, and the music is goofy, which makes
Mm-hmm.
them look even
Yeah,
goofier.
no.
And they're on the ship and they're talking about, one of the girls says something about we have to watch out for these bugs, and then they drop it.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah,
They show up,
they
you
show
see
up
them
and they have
pop
no
up out of
effect.
the ground, but they have absolutely no bearing on the rest of the story.
Yeah,
Should have just cut the scene.
yeah, I should have just left it
The,
alone.
the only thing I could think of is somebody went, nope, it's got to be 90 minutes. Gotta leave it in.
Add that
We
to
cut
it.
it. It'll only be 88 minutes.
The hardest thing for me to watch was seeing Jeff Bridges being derazzed. Yeah, I mean, it was okay. I wish there was a more creative way they could have done that. I mean, I understand the limitations of the time, but
Yeah.
you know,
I will say
I mean,
that
I
was,
shrunk the kids kind of a thing going on there, but
yeah, I mean, that's one of those. This is definitely the 80s, and I don't know how they could have done it better. You
yeah, and that's
know,
exactly, yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right?
like you don't want to do Star Trek Transporter where he just fades out of existence.
Yeah.
So the idea that he like pixel by pixel gets
Yeah,
derez,
exactly.
it
Yeah.
makes sense and it works for the movie.
Yeah.
But I agree, it's not, it doesn't hold up well today.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm not sure how else they would have done it.
No, I mean, they had, I mean, no, exactly. I mean, it was a different time. They had to do something different than was done before. And it was something different than they did
Yeah,
before.
well,
So
that's true.
that's true. Um, There was a sequel to this. I didn't realize
Yes,
Legacy, right? And it didn't,
yes.
as far
Tron
as I know.
Legacy is a live action sequel. There is
Mm-hmm.
another movie that is I believe it's animated, Tron Uprising.
Okay.
Um, I don't remember when that came. That came out first, I think.
Because this
Um,
was kind of a resistance type of deal, kind of a
yeah,
movie where, you know, the programs are trying to be liberated from the
yeah.
master control program. So, yeah,
Overall, I think the story of this works pretty
I do
well.
too. No, I think the
I al-
story is,
I also think it's kind of neat that okay, it's called Tron.
yeah,
Tron is kind of the hero,
kind of.
but Flynn is kind of the hero.
Yes.
But neither like Tron is the buff I am the hero guy
Yes.
character.
He's the program that was written to find out what's going on within
Yes.
within that organization.
And then Jeff Bridges is kind of un um the unprepared hero.
Yes. Yes. And the female love interest was confusing to me. There was like she was kind of a two
So
timing computer hussy, but
well,
um
okay, so
it
you
was
realize that all three characters are the exact
yeah,
characters from the real world.
yes.
So it is implied, I strongly implied, that she and Flynn were a thing at one point,
Yes, that's what it seems
but
like to
not
me.
anymore.
Mm-mm.
And now it's her and oh, what is his name in the movie? It's her and
Uh,
Alan. Alan.
Alan.
So now it's her and Alan.
Yes.
But that
But in
is
the
that is a weird thing.
yeah.
It's like you, and then all of a sudden he
But in the
kisses her in,
but that was as programs though. That was
as
as
programs.
programs. So it's virtual kisses, which is kind of weird. It's kind of anyway. So it's not
Yeah,
really
that's a
her. It
weird
was the
deal.
program that was in there, which is odd. How she was programmed in there, I don't know, but odd,
Yeah,
odd, odd.
that is one of those more strange things
But it was
that
Disney. It was the '80s, and they needed the love interest. And of course, you have Jeff Bridges.
because you can't not have a love interest.
No, you can't because that wouldn't be right in the '80s, I guess. The
And I will
soundtrack.
say,
Huh,
oh, I was going to say, you mentioned that it's Disney, and
mhm,
it is Disney, and I think it really feels Disney.
it does.
There's
Yeah, it
just
has that.
something about it that's like, if you didn't tell me this was a Disney movie, I could watch it and say, "Yep, I bet
That's
Disney made that."
there's a lot of
Uh,
movies during that time you could say that with.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a Disney
like
film.
like the Black Hole. I have to remind myself that Disney did the Black
Yeah,
Hole
no, that's totally
because
different.
we like see people get murdered by
Yes.
spinning blades.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
doesn't feel Disney
No,
to me.
no,
But
no. That's
this felt Disney the whole time.
yes.
And then you were going to mention the soundtrack. What do you think about the music?
It's very much meaty, kind of a meaty type of music. It was just a bunch of kind of Casio type of synthesizers kind of thing. Um,
For me, the music is kind of hit or miss.
hit or
Like
miss. It's
there are
yeah.
some themes that are really good, and
Hmm.
then there are some themes that are not so good.
Well, like the spiders. Yeah, that was kind of weird. Yeah,
Spiders, it's like,
yeah,
please, at least you could have made menace if you had done menacing music,
yes,
maybe that would have worked. Oh, I
yes.
will say one other thing. There is one other thing I read about the CGI.
Hmm.
So the CGI was actually produced by four different companies.
Okay,
Four
really?
different companies. Mostly by two companies.
Yeah.
Then these other two companies worked, and one of the things that some of the producers made comment of was trying to get these four companies that all had different philosophies on how to do CGI
Yeah.
to get on the same page as
Mm-hmm.
each other was difficult. Um, but and that makes me go, I bet the bugs were were one of those, were number 3 or number 4.
We paid for it. We need to use it, basically. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in the budget. We paid for it. We're going to use it.
So this is another thing I read
Bugs.
about that technology.
Yeah.
Something that was different about this movie than most movies.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the CGI work was produced in New York, but
Okay.
the film was shot and produced in LA. So one of the things that they were able to do, because it was the 80s and the birth of the internet, was
Yeah.
they were able to create the CGI and play the CGI back via a computer screen in LA
Yeah.
for them to review, give notes, have them fix it, send it back. And they said that before this time, what you would have had to do was produce the CGI, transfer it to film,
Mm-hmm.
ship the film 3 to 5 days to
Mm-hmm.
LA, watch the film in LA, call and give your notes and ask for changes, do it again, and then repeat the process.
Wow.
So every time they did notes, it saved them 3 to 5 days of shipping time.
Wow.
And that greatly reduced their time to produce this movie.
That's fascinating. Yeah. Man, how far have we come?
I was going to say, how far
Yeah.
have we come? You and I are talking at the same time
Yeah.
on video live.
Exactly.
And
Fascinating.
I
Yeah.
could throw up my computer screen at any point
Mm-hmm.
in time, and
Yeah.
you would see me do things in real time.
That's
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 how far we've come.
that's crazy. That's crazy. No, I enjoyed the movie. Like I said, I've been a long time since I've seen this, and it was honestly, I after watching, I thought, I don't know if I've seen this before. I know it's odd, right? Growing up in the '80s, but being a tech nerd, but I saw it and I thought I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun as
Movie
it
is it?
embraces my Generation X retro child within me, and
Mhm.
I I liked it. I think it's worth, I if I asked my son to watch it, I don't know if he would appreciate it at all. I don't know if any of the generation here would appreciate it unless they were really into the retro.
Yeah,
Um, but it's if you hadn't seen it, I think it's worth a watch, especially if you grew up in the '80s and you hadn't seen
yep.
it. And it's just fun. It's one of those fun things to get the family together, and as a dad, just make them watch it. That's what I would do. Uh,
I did really enjoy this.
yeah.
I think when did Disney Plus come out? When was it? Did it come out
Oh,
in 2019?
it seems about right. 2019, 2018, maybe.
Something like that. Um,
Yeah.
I feel like I watched this again for the first time
Yeah.
right after Disney Plus came out.
Yeah.
Because I remember the first thing I watched on Disney Plus was The
The
Black
black
Hole.
hole. Yes, I knew that.
Um, and but I think Tron was very close second.
Yeah.
Um, just because now, honestly, Star Wars would have been something I would have usually have watched,
Yeah.
but I had the DVDs, I had
Yeah.
the video cassettes. I had watched Star Wars hundreds of times.
Oh, exactly. Yeah,
The
this was
black
totally.
the Black Hole and Tron, I had not.
Well,
Um,
these are the movies that used to, if you wanted it, you had to get on VHS. It would go back into the vault,
yeah,
Disney Vault,
yeah,
and comes back out, and all of a sudden, here you got Disney Plus, and you have all these movies that used to be where you had a limited time to be able to get it or
And if
buy
you
it.
didn't get it, then you're
It,
sore,
you,
tough out of
yeah,
luck.
out of luck. Yeah.
Yep. So for me, I definitely remember seeing this in the theaters, and I loved this movie. I remember watching it a couple of times as a kid because I'm pretty sure it came on TV at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't know that I ever had a VHS or a DVD version of it.
Yeah.
But then watched it again. And then I watched it again this past week, and I still really enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
Does it hold up long term? No.
No,
Does
but
it have a few things that are like, oh, that's kind of cringy? Yes. Overall, I think it's a good, fun movie. And I think the storyline is pretty decent.
I
It
think so
doesn't,
too.
the storyline doesn't let down.
No, I think it has a historical significance to it as well. If you look at it from a technology and from just a cultural standpoint,
Yeah.
I think there's something there, and I think it'd be, and I know it's. I think if you were in a film school or in storytelling, I think it would be a film to watch. You would just have to again appreciate the time that it was in,
Yeah.
and I think the story was really well. I think I don't honestly. This was before War Games. I mean this movie kind of. I forget. It's as what was the movie before that with Isle? What was the Space Odyssey? I can't remember the movie. Hal, Hal. It was a movie about
you're talking about 2001.
2001.
Yes, HAL 9000. Yeah,
and that came out like I think in the late 70s, if I'm not mistaken. Probably. But this is one of the few films that talks about artificial intelligence dominating. And
2001, 1968.
1968. Wow.
Yeah, it was groundbreaking.
Yeah, it was groundbreaking. So yeah. So I think there's a lot of cultural significance to it. But I enjoy it
Tron did not do well at the box office.
No, it didn't.
Because it was fighting an uphill battle. It launched basically the same time frame as Blade Runner. That didn't do great.
Man, that didn't do well. No.
A great movie.
Yeah, great movie.
And what else? There were like 3 other. E.T.
Oh, well, there you go. Wow.
Fighting with E.T., Blade Runner, and like 2 or 3 other pretty significant 80s movies that came out the summer of 1982.
That's amazing.
And amazing that it did as well as it did. It did double its budget. Box office was like 33 million. Really? Off of I actually looked it up a minute ago. It was 17 million to make. So it just barely, not quite doubled its budget in theaters. So officially not a success. But compared to who it was up against, it was never going to win.
Oh no. But there was a ton of merchandising. On it. So,
yeah.
And arcade games and the video, and all that good stuff. So, yeah, I'm sure Disney made their money.
I played that stinking Tron light cycle game 1,000,000 times.
Oh yeah.
The Tron game, the Tron arcade game, I thought was really cool because it was one of the few video games where it's like, okay, you've got choices. You can play one of these. Was it 4 different games? And if you won, you got to play another one.
Yeah, exactly.
If you won, you got to play another one. But if you lose, and you got.
You have the frisbees, right? These the laser frisbees or whatever they were, the killing frisbees or whatever
Yeah, I don't
Shield,
even,
whatever those
remember
things
what
were.
games you could
Yeah.
play. I know one was Light Cycle. One was stupid spider game. I can't believe
Oh, they put that
the
in there.
freaking spiders ended up in the game,
Mm.
even though they had no bearing whatsoever on the
Bearing
movie.
whatsoever on the
They
movie.
showed up in the game. One was throwing the frisbee at the spinning head
Mm-hmm.
guy. I don't remember what the other ones were. There was at least one more. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, crazy stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, I would recommend this as a watch if you haven't seen it before. Also, too, if there's you want to check out some of our other stuff out there, we're on speakingnerdy.com. That's our website where we also have our videos on YouTube, which is youtube.com/speakingnerdy.com. And then also, actually, it's youtube.com/speakingnerdy. You know what we're talking about. And then also you can catch us on the Instagrams and on the Facebooks and as well on any of your favorite audio platforms for podcasts. We're on there too. But it's much better when you get to see our faces. Ain't
Absolutely.
that right? So, yeah, definitely. And of course, next week next week. So many things are happening for next week. We have our Super Bowl and Valentine's, two things that come together. That's right. So who knows what we're going to do next week, folks. So that'd be a good time to kind of keep your eyes and your ears open. We don't even know what we're going to do next. So I don't know. I don't have anything else. Is anything else that you can think of that we are holding back from this audience of ours?
Are we definitely going to do? When is the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl is this Sunday.
This Sunday. So next week we're going to do Super Bowl commercials.
Super Bowl commercials. We got to.
We've got to. We have to be real men.
Real men. We won't know the score who will win, but we'll tell you which Dorito commercial does what, and if Mr. Peanut is still alive. That's a throwback. So we'll do that, and hopefully we can figure out a way to somehow, I don't know. We have to figure out a way where we can. I don't know if we can show it or not, or talk about it. I don't know. We'll figure out something next week. But I don't have anything else, my friend. Do you?
I don't have anything else.
I think we shall end it now.
This has been the Speaking Nerdy podcast with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
And my good friend and compadre, Mr. Ricky Pope. Ah, man. Love is in the air, Love is in the air.
Oh, please. No.
Oh, sorry about that.
No.
No, none of that.